There is never a shortage of sci-fi games out there, and there's so many new ones coming that it's always helpful to sort through them and try to find the most interesting ones to try. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx is the top 20 new sci-fi games of 2022. Starting off with number 20, it's Aperture Desk Job, a game that puts you behind a desk at Aperture Science Laboratories. It is developed and published by Valve, so it is something that takes place in the official expanded universe of the Portal games and puts you into an entry-level position on your first day of work at Aperture Science. It's a short experience, only about 30 minutes. However, Aperture Science Desk Job is free and available right now on Steam, so check it out. And number 19 is Plan 8, a game from Pearl Abyss, the creators of Black Desert Online, that appears very much to be a kind of Gears of War style game that adds in another component, which is exosuits. We've really only ever seen a trailer for this game, but it was supposed to be out last year, and judging by a lot of what we've seen of it, it looks like gameplay that's going to be really great. Story, however, we don't really know a lot about. My guess, open world Gears of War, customizable powers based on exosuit technology. Based on that description, it's something I really want to play. To be totally frank, that is a combination of things that sounds great. Plan 8 coming out hopefully this year on all major current generation platforms. At number 18 is Warhammer 40k Darktide, which brings us the same kind of gameplay we saw in Vermintide, except obviously in the 40k version of the Warhammer universe. Darktide is also going to take a little bit of emphasis off of melee combat, not a huge amount of it though. They say it's probably going to be about 50-50 between melee and ranged combat, but otherwise it's going to be a similar gameplay loop as the Horde type gameplay of Vermintide. That's great. Warhammer 40k is a perfect place to do a sort of expanded Vermintide with a little more ranged combat in it. Warhammer 40k Darktide is going to land on Windows and the Xbox Series on September 13th. At number 17 is Synced Off Planet, a co-op shooter set in a techno-apocalyptic future. So this is a game that is going to offer a lot of different modes. You got PvP, you got PvE, you got PvPvE, and apparently a large number of variants of those things. Now I'm sure we've all seen Horde-style shooters with various types of combat in them, but the thing that sets this apart is the nanobots you can summon, which basically work to modify the combat in various ways. It's an interesting concept. I hope that it pans out to something that is coherent, because a lot of the times when people just add nebulous nanobots to stuff, it stops being coherent, but it kind of looks like the scope is narrow enough that it might actually work. Synced Off Planet is coming sometime this year to major platforms. And number 16 is Somerville, an adventure game set in what appears to be some kind of alien sci-fi war catastrophe thing. It bills as a large-scale conflict where you play as a person trying to reunite their family in the wake of it. It is a beautiful graphic style. I love it. You don't usually see this kind of story portrayed in a rural area, and it looks incredible. Somerville is coming sometime this year to Windows and the Xboxes. And number 15 is Unknown 9 Awakening, a game about a woman who is, quote, haunted by visions of her own death. Now, I'm not really super aware of the Unknown 9 franchise, which is a cross-platform media project. Like, there's novels, comic books, podcasts, all that. Long story short, your character has special powers to manipulate, quote unquote, the unseen. And the teaser trailer is really intriguing. The game is coming to Windows, the Xbox Series, and PlayStation 5 sometime this year. At number 14 is Elex II, the new sort of vintage open world role-playing type game from Piranha Bytes, which if you know their type of games, you know exactly what it's going to be. I did the before you buy for the original of this, and I was a little harsh on it, and if I'm frank, this one didn't really win me over. Piranha Bytes kind of doesn't evolve, and that's either going to be an advantage or a detriment for you, because there's a lot of people that really just love Piranha Bytes games, and if that's you, Elex II is out on the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and PC. And number 13 is The Invincible, a retro future sci-fi thriller in which you are a lost astronaut attempting to find the missing crew from your spaceship. It is, to be frank, an extremely unique, beautiful looking game. You've got survival elements, you've got incredible visuals, you've got a non-linear story inspired by the sci-fi cult classic by Stanislaw Lem. The Invincible looks incredible. It is going to come out sometime this year on the Xbox Series, PlayStation 5, and PC. And number 12 is Overprime, a strategic team-based MOBA where two teams battle to destroy each other's base. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, it is a game with an incredibly unique aesthetic. It does look very much like there is a lot of different stuff at play, and the intent of the game is to find different emergent ways of fighting. Overprime is coming sometime this year on PC. And number 11 is Forever Skies, a game that I really think looks interesting. Now, you start from a base of kind of Subnautica, but in the sky, on an Earth that humanity went ahead and ruined for itself. There's some kind of gas on the ground that makes it impossible to go there, and you're basically scavenging the tops of large buildings using your blimp/drone fortress thing. I think this game looks cool as hell. The trailer does such a great job of introducing what this game is by showing you a kind of tranquil version of what you're dealing with, then introduces a storm and finally some form of quote-unquote colossal life that you'll most likely want to avoid. I don't know, this game looks great. Forever Skies is going to hit Steam Early Access sometime this year, and then consoles. And number 10 is Kerbal Space Program 2, probably one of the times that changing developers actually looks promising, as it seems like the new developer seems very committed to preserving everything that the first developer did and simply adding new things to it, such as new ways to have colonies, new types of propulsion, interstellar travel, etc. Kerbal Space Program 2 is coming to PC, the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and it's going to do so sometime this year. And number 9 is the Dead Space remake, and oh my god, am I ready for this. It really looks like this is going to shape up to be something very special. They have done a lot in terms of making this already, to be frank, beautiful game that I think does actually hold up. It obviously has shown its age a bit, but looking back on it, it doesn't look bad. Now it looks incredible though. Dead Space is one of the premier space horror games I've ever played. I still lament Dead Space 3 pretty badly because it ended the series, and not on a good note with that microtransaction nonsense. There's none of that here in the Dead Space remake. I can't wait to play this game. There's some rumbling around that it's a 2023 title, but we don't have really any confirmation of a date, so I'm gonna hold out and cross my fingers. I can't wait to play this. And number 8 is Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. I don't care for the Avatar movie, however, the game actually has a lot of potential in that the world of Pandora is a very interesting, unique, and beautiful world, and to be frank, the story of a video game with good gameplay doesn't need to be as good as the story of a movie does, because good gameplay makes up for a lot. Like I said, the setting of Avatar is very cool, and I am hoping this turns out to be something beyond what the movie was, which thanks to total advertising saturation was a very successful movie that left no cultural thumbprint whatsoever. Fingers crossed on Frontiers of Pandora. That's coming to the Xbox Series, PlayStation 5, and PC sometime this year. And number 7 is Ghostwire Tokyo, a game that, was frankly pretty mysterious during the course of its development, and the weird things that happened around it. Basically, it's a detective story where you've got some psychic abilities. Most of Tokyo's population has disappeared, and now there's a whole bunch of ghost stuff going on. This game's incredibly unique in its look, in its gameplay, in its story, and as far as I'm concerned, absolutely justifies a purchase. Right now, Ghostwire Tokyo is a timed exclusive on PlayStation 5 and Windows. Highly recommend it. And number 6 is Homeworld 3, which is now the third in a series that has really gone through a lot to have a third game made. Rights have changed hands multiple times, acquisitions have happened, but finally there's a Homeworld 3, a next-gen version of the 3D Cosmic RTS. It's a game that we've been waiting for a while, to be frank. Some of the original developers are actually working on this game, specifically Rob Cunningham, the original design director. So in every way, it looks like a very interesting game. It is, of course, coming to PC sometime late in the year. And number 5 is Forspoken, which is just a really cool looking title. It's a big open world game in which you don't move like a typical open world game. The movement's very fast, seems to be parkour inspired. It's kind of a sci-fi/fantasy game in which you start in New York City, you're transported to this fantasy world, and the idea is to try to find your way home. The team that developed this game was assembled from personnel that worked on Final Fantasy 15. And just to be frank, it looks like something unique and original in the open world space, and a lot of things have been tried. So if that pans out, this is going to be great. Forspoken is coming to PlayStation 5 and PC October 11th. And number 4 is the Callisto Protocol, which is a very interesting title. It comes to us from Striking Distance Studios, founded by Glenn Schofield, one of the co-creators of the original Dead Space series. It's set in the PUBG Battlegrounds universe, but it doesn't seem particularly connected to the main game. The game takes place way in the future from PUBG in the year 2320 at a prison colony on Jupiter's moon Callisto. You're a prisoner, and the prison's warden has seemingly engineered an alien invasion, and a lot of the gameplay elements look very much like they're out of Dead Space. So similar but different, and now that we've got Dead Space Remake coming and this, we've got kind of two sides of the coin in terms of best outcomes. Assuming these are both good, I'm excited. Callisto Protocol is coming to the Xbox Series, PlayStation 5, and PC sometime this year. Number 3 is Starfield, coming sometime this year. It's basically, as Bethesda has called it, Skyrim in space. For a game coming this year, we really don't know a lot about it. We do know that everything we've seen of it looks amazing, and also we're going to see little robot companions in it. That sounds fun. Really, the whole experience sounds fun, although they're leaning much further into sci-fi than Fallout. Like, they want to ground things specifically in science rather than indulge the sort of nebulous reasons for things happening that Fallout has. I think that's cool, and I'm pretty interested in seeing how this game pans out. It looks incredible. I hope their engine works better this time around, though. Longtime gameranx followers will know my problems with the creation engine. Regardless, Starfield is coming to PC and Xbox Series November 11th, 2022, the 11-year anniversary of Skyrim. We're looking forward. And number 2 is Horizon Forbidden West. This one's already out, and we've already had some time with it, so it's a little unfair to the other upcoming games, but to be frank, they've got stiff competition to beat in Horizon Forbidden West. It obviously continues the original story as you branch out west, of course. With that, we see a whole lot of new systems, a whole lot of new scale, and really just a whole lot to enjoy. Horizon Forbidden West is a fantastic open world game. It's obviously sci-fi in nature, but there's kind of a little something for everybody there. It's out on PlayStation 4 and 5. Highly recommended. And finally, at number 1 is Atomic Heart, an alternate world USSR that kind of looks like a BioShock type game. Comes to us from Russian developers, so they probably know that stuff way better, except rather than plasmids, there's big technological jumps that make this world particularly both interesting and dangerous. It's a beautiful looking game that we've been looking forward to for a long time. Atomic Heart is coming to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and PC sometime late this year. Couple of bonus games for you. First, Destiny 2: The Witch Queen, which continues the story of Destiny 2, which over the years has gotten gradually better and more narratively rich, as well as Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, which, as I said, is a really enjoyable romp through all 8 of the good Star Wars movies and also the last one. That's all for today. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. So click subscribe. Don't forget to enable all notifications. And as always, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter @FalconTheHero. We'll see you next time right here on gameranx.